Hey guys, Claude Johnson here. Alright, in today's video, I'm going to give you guys at least 10 different ways that you can play your basic blues shuffle. Okay, so I'm talking about this kind of thing. Now, I know that's real super basic, but listen, cliches are cliches for a reason. I mean, you know, Stevie Ray Vaughan, one of the greatest of all time, played this kind of thing all the time. A lot of time he will play it in a closed position. You can play it with open strings, but I'm going to give you guys a bunch of cool ways you can spice up this basic idea. So let's just jump right into it. The first couple examples will be pretty basic, but we'll get more complicated as we go along. All right, so the first one is really basic. It's going to be like just your basic shuffle. Let's do most of these in the key of A. So basically I'm doing like, I call this 5-5-6-6. So open A string, and then this is your second fret on the D string, but that's your fifth. So fifth or 5, and you hit it twice. And then you go up to your fourth fret, that's your sixth, and you hit that one twice. Now, when you're playing these with open strings, sometimes it's good to use a little bit of palm muting. So that's just using this kind of part of your hand just so it doesn't ring out. It gives it a little more percussive sound. When you're playing it with the closed position, I find that you don't need to do that as much. So anyway, it's important to play these examples through like 12 bars if you can. Maybe just start with, you know, learning it like just in A, and then try to take it through a 12-bar blues. A good example of like an actual blues song would be I Got My Brand on You. It's from my blues song course. Check my channel here for, I think I released the full song lesson as a sample for the course, but that's just a good example of like how you can use these actual like cliches in an actual song. Anyway, but if you were just like, forget the song for a second, let's just talk about playing it through a 12-bar blues. One thing you can do is on the 4 chord, you just move it up a set of strings to the D. And then in the key of E, the 5 chord is E, so you also have the open string. If you're in a different key, like the key of E, you might have to go up here on the 5. But point is, try to play it through a 12-bar blues. So real quick, like I'll play it at a fast tempo just to get through this so we can get on with the examples. But okay, now 4 chord. Back to the A. Now E. All right. Anyway, I think I made the point. Play it through a 12-bar blues whenever possible. All right, let's go on to idea number 2. And this is also very basic, but instead of just going like 5 to 6, we'll go up to the 7th. So one more fret. So instead of like 5-5-6-6, you would do like well, basically 5-5-6-6-7-7-6-6. A lot of these ideas you repeat. So like you would take it through, you know, when I say like 5-5-6-6, you would usually double that. Like, so 5-5-6-6, 5-5-6-6. So in this case, we're going to go 5-5-6-6-7-7-6-6. So you end up with this. You can mix and match these as well. Like I was talking about that song, I Got My Brand on You. I'm mixing up like the 5-5-6-6 and also this one, the 5-6-7-6 idea. All right? All right, so the next one, and this is the last basic one, I promise. We'll go into something a little bit different after this. But the next one's going to be like 5-5-6-5. So it's very similar to the first one, but you're going to go back like... So it's similar, but I think it's important to like know the difference, because when we start adding things to these, the riffs start to become like more specific. So when you're playing something, you might not even realize, like if you're not paying attention, that you were actually playing this instead of, and then you go back to play it later and you can't quite figure out, or it doesn't sound right. So I think it's like important to sort of like just be aware of like specifically which riff you're playing and like which notes, which beats you're coming in on. It's sort of the mentality of, you know, a riff-based mindset of just, you know, nailing things down so you can repeat them later. All right, so again, 5, 5, 6, 5. Now I should mention the picking here. What I'm usually doing is just like down, up, and by the way, when we say shuffle, it really means like a triplet feel. So all these are like in that, you know, one, you know, you count it like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. So you hit the downstroke on the 1 and then up on the 3. 1, 3, 1. And don't forget we're using the palm muting. Okay. Now you could do all downstrokes if you want. It's kind of a different feel. You can play around with it. It's kind of a more percussive, but also like a more staccato. It's a little bit less smooth, but you know, play around with it. It's kind of like a more deliberate type of like, you know, feel to it. I don't know. It's just a different feel. I guess like when you're playing it with the alternate picking, the strings are allowed to ring out a little bit more. Gives it a little bit more of a relaxed type of feel. And I think it just is going to be more universal. It's going to work more often, as you know. If you really want it to ring out, don't use the palm muting. You know. And you can also hold notes longer, which we'll talk about. All right, so let's do the next example. This is going to be example 4. Hey, real quick, before we continue here, I just want to give a quick plug for my free course. It's called 7 Blues Guitar Secrets That Save You Years of Practice. You can get it at BluesGuitar.com/secrets, or just check the link in the video description. And I think it's got a lot of powerful insights and concepts that are going to help you out. They're going to help you with everything you're doing, including the stuff in this video. So once again, just check the link in the description. Thanks for your support, and now back to the video. We're going to play this idea with like the minor major third, almost like a boogie type of riff. You know, watch my other series on the boogie stuff, but we can start out like this 5, 5, 6, 5 idea. And then, so 5, 5, 6, 5, 5, 5, and then the last one will be this little lick. So let's try this. This is the middle finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, and then your ring finger on the 4th fret. You can do a hammer-on. You can pick it if you want, but basically it's going to be like. Now you could also, instead of doing that, you could do like 3 notes. Just that's up to the 5th there on the 2nd fret of the D string. So, sorry. So you could do either of those, that one or. The second way. That one's a little bit more technical because you're doing a downstroke and then you got to do another downstroke when you repeat the riff. Okay? So different ways to do it. And come up with your own ideas, you know, you can throw that in. kind of anywhere. All right. Let's see. The next one is going to be alternating. Like we'll go back to this 5, 6, 7, 6 idea. But now let's alternate the notes. And for this I can use like a hybrid picking technique. So I'm going to pick the A string and then pluck with my middle finger here on the right hand, pluck the D string like up. Now I know what you're thinking, this is a real basic idea. Don't worry, I'm going to give you some variations on this one too. One thing to keep in mind, I think for this one, like the way I would play it would be that this note would be coming in on the previous beat. So this would be like your 1 here, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now let's try to spice that up just a little bit. Maybe we can do like, hit this one twice. Just a different melody. We can do like that to get back into it. If that's not spicy enough for you, what about replacing the open A with this C sharp, which is your third, like that, or like this, back to the open A, and then you could add maybe some rhythmic variation, or you can also like play these two together. That's like your tritone as part of the A7 chord. Or even this, like full A7. Something like that. I haven't worked out all the possibilities. This is sort of a bonus homework for you, but the basic riff is, again, and again, you can play around with your own variations, like with this note. All right, so like a million possibilities there. All right, let's see. Let's go back to our 5-5-6-5. Here's the next example. We're going to change the rhythm up a bit and play like kind of like this, like 1 and 2 and. So we hold that 5-5-6-5. Hold that. So 1 and 2 and, like 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and. So here you have. Again, I'm talking about degrees. When I say 5, I don't mean 5 fifth fret. 5, 6, 5, 5, 6, 5, 5, 6, 5. When you play this one, 5, 6, 5. When you play that last part, start with an upstroke. That way, you do that 6, 5 with a downstroke. So. So that, it becomes a totally different feel than just your normal, right? That's just chugging along, but then totally, changes the groove. And that's important, when your ear will get bored of the same groove over and over. So, all right, so here's the next example. It's going to be something like this. So basically I'm throwing in this lick on the last beat of that riff. So we're going to do our 5-5-6-6 and then 5-5. But when I do the 5-5, I'm going to use the the last 5 of that 5 as an open A string, which kind of becomes part of that lick, like a sort of a 4-note phrase. So like real slowly it would be. So 5, 5, 6, 6, 5, 5. Now you could play it just with a full chord like. So it's a subtle thing. You sort of have a choice. You could play it like that, or kind of change that last little chord into an open string, which I think works a little better, just because you're transitioning from 2-note chords to single notes, and when the transition point is going to be part of the previous beat, which kind of makes it more cohesive. It's always good to like start the lick in the previous beat. Now you could actually throw in like any lick you want. I like this one in particular. Very simple. It's going from the 5th to the 7th, back to the 5th. I guess the main thing is I try not to land on the root here because I'm already playing the root. I'm already playing that open A string, and I'm starting the lick with that. So you could play something like that, but again, it's a little bit uncomfortable sometimes because you're playing the root and then you're playing another root. So, it can sometimes sound unmusical, but I like that one. All right, so, but play around with this idea of just throwing in like a 4-note lick there at the end where you got the last 8th note and then you're going to do 3 more 8th notes. Many, many possibilities. All right, let's go to the next example. Let's see. Here's another great lick. Similar, but this one is going to be starting on a different place. So we'll just do this, and this time it's going to be 5, 5, 6, 5 instead of the 5, 5, 6, 6. So what I was saying earlier about paying attention to which riff you're doing, this is a good example of that. So I think it works better with this. 5, 5, 6, 5. Let me try it one more time. So this is like I said, a kind of a modern country approach. Notice we're using the 4th degree of the pentatonic scale, which is kind of cool. You get that kind of a sound. But then I'm also throwing in this. So let me explain the lick, and then I'll explain where it comes in with the beat. So 5, 5, 6, 5, 5. So open A string, and then I'm going to bar with my ring finger on the 7th fret, and I pluck those on my right hand with the ring and the middle and ring finger, and then hit the open A string again, and then back to the 5th fret. I'm barring the G and B string. So again, this is G and B string. And the same G and B string, and then I hammer on here to the G string 6th fret, and then I end on my A here on the 7th fret. Now, it sounds like a lot of notes, and it is more notes than the other example because we're starting one beat earlier. So you play that, then it really starts the lick. You could think of this A as part of the rhythm, and then you're just starting here. You can play this one also if you want. But anyway, boom, 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 boom. But you can also think of this as like just starting, just to keep it simple, just starting on the beat. 1, 2, 3. Okay. But you're hitting those high notes like one triplet in, which is what gives it that kind of syncopated feel. Okay, now if you were playing this through 12 bars, the easiest thing to do, like on the D chord, just go up here to the 10th fret, or 12th fret to 10th fret position. You don't have like the, I guess you could use the open D string like that. But anyway, I think you get the idea. All right, let's keep going here. Let's see. I had some idea in mind with, I think that was it. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the A pentatonic notes starting on a lower note and then just and then ascending upward. So I'm using the open E string, which is my 5th degree. So this would be like 5, 5, 6, 5, 5, 6, 6. And then back to my 5. And then this would be like the last beat of that. So instead of 5, 5, I have 5 and then note. And then a triplet. So this is very similar to this one, where we took the last 8th note and then added 3 more triplet notes. So you end up with a 4-note lick. It's really sort of a variation of that. You could think of it if you want, but it's a specific one that we can do. Basically, again, using the minor pentatonic, starting on a low note and going up. Now you could, you don't have to necessarily start on the 5th. You could start like on the 4th, which would be the D. Although in this case you get a very different sound because the E, there's no low D, so you have to go all the way up to your open D string. You get something like. And this will sound like different in different keys. So for example, let's just go to the key of E for a minute. If I wanted to ascend from my 5th, that's the B. Let's see. Yeah. It sort of sounds a lot different, doesn't it? Or if you want to, this actually starts, this one in E sounds better starting on my 4th, which is my open A. So. So the characteristics, because of like where the octaves are placed, are going to give this a really different character depending on what key you're playing, just because we're so low. We're trying to play in the low register. All right, so those are 2 different ideas for this one idea of starting on a low note and then going up the pentatonic scale. All right, let's do one more example here. So this one I'm basically throwing a chord in. I'm going to start, and this one, it's going to be sort of a variation on the 5, 5, 6, 5 or 5, 5, 6, 6. It's really going to be like 5, 5, 6 and then like percussive rakes. Kind of like that. So it's neither 5, 5, it's neither 5, 5, 6, 5 or 5, 5, 6, 6, strictly speaking. It's Now you could use any kind of A chord you want. You could use, I'll show you what chord I'm using in a second, but you could use like a basic A chord here. You could use like this A7. You could use an A7 like that. You could use this one. You could use your bar chords. You know, partial bar here. This one maybe. Even this one. But what I'm doing here, I'm throwing in a 9 chord. And actually this specific voicing I didn't go over. I did a video about the T-bone chord using 9 chords, where if you have like this minor 7 flat 5, you could just use these 3. That's the T-bone chord. So you should watch that video. I talk about 9 chord voicings, minor 7 flat 5, and so on. This chord I'm using today is actually the top part of this minor 7 flat 5 chord. So it's basically like on the D, G, and B strings, 5th fret, 4th fret, 5th fret. So you get a different type of 9 chord where you don't have the 3rd, but you do have the 5th. So you have like basically just like 7th and 9th and 5th. But it works because well, you're playing this root already here. So now when you play the chord, you could either play you could play some different rhythms, like so 1 or 2. That's a good one. You can get a real good groove going with that one, and really try to whack it. You know, you strum strongly. Or you could just do what I was doing at the beginning, which is so anyway, hope I gave you guys enough examples here. Should be plenty of ideas for you, and hopefully I've convinced you that your basic shuffle does not need to be boring. There's a million things you can do just with the shuffle idea. All right, so that's it for now. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Appreciate it. And give me a comment. Love to hear your comments. And check the links in the description. You can check out my blues course for songs, riffs, free stuff, all that good stuff. So have a good one.